Rolling?
Yep.
So, we are here to talk about the 50th wedding anniversary of Anne and Elliot Siegel. So, first of all, congratulations
Thank you.
on a big milestone. We're all very excited to celebrate with you, and so wanted to start off by asking you a few questions about your history pre-wedding.
Okay.
So can you describe for us the first time you met your husband?
Absolutely.
Look at the camera, not me.
Okay.
No, she doesn't need to look at the
Okay.
camera.
Okay. We were at a mixer at Yale Medical School.
What was a mixer for those of
A
us who
mixer
don't know?
was the poor two sexes would be put together in a room. We came down from Vassar.
Medical school at Yale, and I don't know why I really went. I wasn't sure I was going to go, but I went. And
What would you have done on that evening, Evelyn?
could have studied. It was a Saturday night. I figured I'd go, but I wasn't sure why. But I went. The girls were not very happy, I remember, because they had the number of boys, men, and then they invited two schools. I think it was Connecticut College and Vassar. And they didn't know that there would be twice as many girls there, so some of them were whatever, upset and all.
And they did not tell us that they also invited College, so they had twice as many females as males at that mixer, because this was the first time the medical school had done it for a while, and they thought they'd really clean up. So your father was dancing with one girl, I was dancing with some guy, doing the twist. The twist was a big thing then. So I was big in the twist. I love the twist. But at any rate, you probably don't know the twist yet.
Nope.
It's a funny dance. But at any rate, the girl that was dancing with with your to-be father decided she liked the guy I was dancing with better, so she started talking to him, and your father and I sort of looked at each other and said, and we switched partners. And that was the start of us.
But I saw this cute blonde who was sort of either talking with this guy or not so up to talking with the guy. And somehow I ended up talking with her, and then we went for a walk, and I showed her the School of Art and Architecture, which was the new big hotshot building there. That was the first night I met her.
So you went back to Vassar, and then it was months later that you heard from him at Valentine's?
At Valentine's Day, because this was in the fall. So I got one short letter, I do remember, in November, but that was it. Not asking me to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why I don't think you're giving me a chance. I still have that card somewhere upstairs. I thought that was the funniest thing. It was the start of understanding that your father was not a romantic type.
So tell us about the "You're not giving me a chance" letter.
She remembers it better than I do. It was probably into the next January, February, or something like that. And I had maybe written her, she wrote me back after that, what I call the Kennedy letter, and wrote her about maybe getting together, and we may have planned something and it didn't happen or something. And I don't know, at some point, it was probably February, March, I wrote her a letter that said, gee, I really think we ought to be getting, I don't know what the letter says, she may have it.
Well, what's your memory of the letter?
That for whatever, I said we should be getting together, but you're not really giving me a chance. That was the gist of the letter.
And what was your perception of Elliot at that time?
Smart, Totally not romantic.
So, okay, so you met in 63, you see each other again for dinner in spring of
65.
Okay, and you basically blew him off for the second date.
He would say that, I think.
Alright, so how did it take shape that you got back together
Okay.
at that point?
Well, that's a funny story, because I was going for job interviews, and there were 2 in Boston, which I was most interested in. So I got my friend Ellen, who's a Brooklyn Jewish woman, who I'd been to visit her house and her parents. I'd been the first non-Jew in her apartment building in Brooklyn, and they were afraid I'd put a cross on the wall when I came. They were, this was a really sheltered Jewish upbringing. So anyway, I got in the car with her to drive to Boston, and on the way to New Haven, where we were going to just stop and see him, I was talking her into how great a guy he would be for her.
And what did you tell her? Why was he such a great guy?
I don't remember what I told her, but I remember, the funny thing is, looking back on it, I talked myself into it by the time I got to New Haven, instead of talking her into it. So I may have talked her into it too, but I talked myself into it. So we saw him briefly, and then we went up to Boston, and he came up to Boston. And I was actually staying with one of my brother's friends. Ellen and I were staying in his house. So we met Rabs, Bob was his name, Rabs is what they called him. We met your father outside of somewhere in Boston area. And I remember Rabs saying to him, "So where are you from?" There was a little bit of hostility going on here. And he said, "Chelsea." And Rabs said something about how terrible Chelsea was as an insult. And your father just said back in his normal way, "Yeah, it should be razed to the ground." So he did not take him up on it. I thought that was fairly cool. So anyway, he did fine, and my friend went off on the motorcycle with Rabs, which I would never have done, and I went out with your father.
And so that was the start of the romance?
Yeah, I guess a little bit. It was, as I said, it wasn't a romantic. I wouldn't say that your father was ever a romantic guy. And he always claimed I left my umbrella in his car for a reason. But I don't remember really his car left my umbrella for a reason. But he always claimed I did. And then it started. Then we started seeing each other when I was up in Boston, and he would come up to Boston to see me, and then I'd go down to New Haven some to see him. It was driving back and forth. Again, your father was not the kind to propose exactly, except we were getting there. This was just easing your way into something, I think. And finally, one day I took out a calendar and I said, "You give me the day we're going to get married."
So that was the proposal?
That was my telling him. He had to pick the day, and he was scared to death.
So do you still have the calendar?
No.
What kind of calendar was it? Was it a picture calendar?
No, it was just a
date book?
It was just one of those rectangular calendars that he had. But I just pulled it off. You pick, because he was waffling. It's kind of, now, he's 5 years older than I am, so you would think not so waffling, but he was.
And did he pick a day on that day?
Yeah, he finally picked a day.
And that was June 5th, 1966?
Yeah, it was kind of like...
So what happened with the calendar?
It's tougher to go second, right? Clearly after I graduated, got a job, and she got the job, and went to Boston. I had an offer up at Boston, and I almost went, and that was actually one of the things that I said, well, if I go up there, then I can be considerations, but in the end, I stayed in New Haven because, for me, I felt it was a much better career kind of thing. I could do a lot more in a small city than be part of a bigger enterprise of Boston. But I ended up, we dated in what I would say regularly. We went back and forth and all, and at some point it was getting serious. It may have been more serious on her part than mine. Maybe not. I don't know. Well, she was young. I was older. But I figured at some point, this is, we're going to end up getting married. But I didn't push it. And then one time she said, okay, it's time, and she pulled out her calendar.
And what thought raced through your head at that moment?
It was sort of like, I should have done this before.
All right, so who planned the wedding?
I guess my mother did. We had 11 people in my mother's and father's house. So, it was just the family that was then, and there were no grandchildren, and there were no, so we had my brother and his wife, and my younger brother and Michael, who was not married at that point, and the parents, and the justice of the peace. And we got married in the backyard of Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania.
Wedding day. Wedding day was in Bryn Mawr. Small wedding. Felt right for me. Just I didn't want a big wedding. And so that's what it was. We had the justice of the peace, Seymour Green, Sidney Green, which my mother...
Sidney Green was a power forward for the Bulls.
Seymour Green was the justice of the peace from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania.
Was it a nice day?
It was a beautiful day. Your father was sweating profusely, but I remember your father sweating quite a lot. It was warm, but it wasn't hot.
Were you nervous?
Probably a little. It was hot enough on the day that I was sweating some, but I'm not sure that I was nervous. I may have been nervous.
How about your wife-to-be? Did she seem nervous?
It wasn't apparent to me that she was.
So did you have a speech prepared for the wedding, or was
No.
it just I do?
No, I do.
Universal national health insurance, which to me was, it's about time we get it done. And so there was a chance to potentially apply for this fellowship. And I said, okay, I'll apply for it. And if I get it, we'll go to Washington. I think I'd rather do things in Washington than in New Haven. So that's what prompted it, and it all came through. Some individual pieces had to be put in place, but they did. I didn't go with her one day when she went to look in Northern Virginia, but she came back and said, I don't like Northern Virginia, we're going to live in Maryland. And I knew enough about urban renewal stuff and all of that, and said, let's do it inside the Beltway, and it became Bethesda, and it seemed like the right place.
What were your initial impressions of Bethesda?
Expensive.
It seemed like, the right kind of area to come to.